What to do if you get asked an interview question that you cannot answer during a job interview. Now you have three choices. You can either say that you don't know, or you could try to deduce the answer, or number three, you could just try to guess. Now, 80% of people that I have interviewed have tried to guess when they don't know the answer to the interview question. And that's not the right way to answer it. Because if you try to guess, first you have a 50-50% chance, and even if you guess it right, you'd still fail once the interviewer asks why you've given that answer. Because you've guessed, you don't know the real answer. So the right way to do it is something like this. If you get asked an interview question that you cannot answer, first apologize. Say that you do not know the answer to that question. You're really sorry for the fact that you've missed that part of information. But then say that you try to answer the question anyway and try to deduce the answer. For example, let's say I'm going for a trader interview and I get asked what is happening to the price of oil right now. Let's say that I don't know the answer. So what would I do? First, I would say I apologize. I have not been following oil markets recently, for which I'm truly sorry. But let me try to answer the question anyway. So then I'll try to explain my reasoning as I'm thinking through the process to the interviewer. This is going to score me a lot of points because it's going to show the interviewer that I'm able to think on my feet. So let's say I don't know the answer to what's happening to the price of oil. How would I go about answering what is happening? So first I'll say, look, oil is a commodity, and the price of oil, as with any commodity, is driven by the supply and demand for oil. Oil is used in transportation and is a source of energy. So anything that's impacting the supply and demand for transportation energy would also have an impact on the price of oil. So let's see what's happening recently that could be impacting the supply and demand for those two services. So first we had the coronavirus pandemic, which was impacting the demand for oil. But now that's largely over. Restrictions are falling, so I would not expect to see any big impacts on demand for coming from the coronavirus pandemic. If anything, I would expect demand to be back to normal. Now what's happening on the supply side? Recently, we've had the war in Ukraine and big sanctions being applied to Russia. Now, Russia as a country is a big supplier of energy. They supply gas and they supply, to some extent, oil. So if they've been sanctioned, this means that they'll have trouble trading and exporting gas and oil. So there'll be disruptions to the supply of energy. Therefore, I would expect supply to be constrained. If we've had constrained supply, this means that the price is likely high right now. So I would guess that the price of oil is quite high. Now, this would be the right answer, but also the fact that I've explained my reasoning, even though I didn't know the answer outright, would score me a lot of points during the job interview. In fact, it might score me full points or even more points if I had just given the answer without explaining why. So this is how you go about. And even if let's say you get your reasoning wrong, the fact that you've just tried to explain, the fact that you've given the effort, that you've talked through with the interviewer, is still going to score you some points. So if you don't know the answer to the interview question, try to deduce the answer. Try to explain your thinking, your reasoning, and talk with the interviewer. I hope you found that piece of information useful, and good luck during your job hunts. This is CV Dr. Angelo at financing.co.uk.